morning, everyone. This is Becky. For those of you who don't know me, I own Birdie Soap Nest, and today I wanted to invite you into my studio and show you my process for making a loaf of soap. So today I am going to be making a lavender soap, and it's an all-natural loaf. And we're going to go ahead and just get right into this. I've got my oils ready. Typically it takes me a couple of hours to make a loaf of soap, but I got things ready ahead of time so that we can just jump right into this. So what I've got, we're going to be using this soap mold, handmade by my very own husband, Scott. Good job, Scott. And we've got our oils here. What I've got here is some palm oil. This is going to give our soap some hardness and some creaminess. We have some coconut oil. Coconut oil is a quintessential oil to use in soap. This is what gives you your bubbles, and it makes a good hard bar of soap. But we want to limit this because this also adds dryness to the soap. So we're going to counteract that with some cocoa butter. So this is all natural cocoa butter. And then also in here, let me get this off. In this bowl, I have already weighed out olive oil and castor oil. The castor oil is going to add some more bubbleness to the loaf, and then the olive oil will add moisture and more hardness to the bar of soap. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. We are going to add our coconut oil into our bowl. Okay, and then our palm oil goes in. Okay, scrape that down good. And then all of our cocoa butter goes in. Okay, so we've got all of these into the bowl, but these need to melt down and then come to room temperature. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pop them in the microwave. It's probably going to take about 10 minutes to melt this down because the cocoa butter needs a really high heat in order to get that melted down. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and as soon as it's done, I'll be right back with you. Okay, we're back. We've got our oils melted down, and they are at a room temperature so that it will blend nicely, and I'll be able to have plenty of time to pour this. But what we are going to do now is add the rest of our oils to it. So I'm going to add my olive oil and my castor oil to my bucket. I did switch over to the bucket so that I have plenty of room to hopefully eliminate any splashing when I go to add my lye to this. So now I've got all of my oils blended together, and once I add my lye solution to this, by the way, no lye, no soap. So we have to have the lye in order to make the soap. So we're going to go ahead and carefully do that. If you decide that you want to venture into the soap making world, you need to make sure that you study up on how to properly and safely use lye. You notice I'm wearing gloves. This will burn, so make sure that you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and add my lye to this, and it's not going to take but maybe a couple of seconds for this lye to turn that oil into soap. This stage is called sponification. So here we go. We're adding very slowly to avoid any splashing, and then we're going to set that out of the way so it's safe. All right. So now we're going to stir this, and then I'm going to switch over to my stick blender, and you're going to see just how quickly this soap or this oil turns to soap. The oil will turn to soap. All right. So we're going to use a stick blender, and we're going to knock out any of the bubbles that will appear, and then just zap it really quickly. Okay, now see how that's changing colors? That's the sponification that's taking effect, and that is now just that quick. This is now soap. There's no more lye in this because it's just that quick. This stage, as you can see, knock out those bubbles. This stage is called tracing now, where we can actually drag, and you can, hopefully you can see that the soap leaves this track. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's leaving us sort of a trace across the surface of the soap. Okay, that is now traced. And you see how thick that got. So now that is actually soap. Now's the stage where we can add our essential oil and our lavender buds. Okay, so I've got organic lavender buds here. So that's going to go in. We're going to sprinkle them in. And now I'm going to add my essential oil. This is lavender essential oil, and we're going to hand stir this in. And the reason we're going to hand stir this is because a lot of times fragrances or essential oils will speed up what's called the trace, and it's going to, a lot of times it's going to seize up. So we want to make sure that that happens very slowly, which is why hand stirring it is the better option. So let's go ahead and add that in. And we're just going to stir that in really well. Look how pretty that is. If you guys have any comments or questions, drop them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you're doing for Mother's Day too. Tell me where you're from. What are you doing today? So that looks like it's pretty good, well stirred in. And we're going to go ahead and add this all to our mold. So I'm going to move this out of camera and put our mold in here. Okay. And now we're going to pour this. Hopefully I won't pour it on the camera. Okay, see how nice and liquidy that is? We're going to fill that up. That's nice and smooth too. Okay. Kind of spread that around a bit. Now we're going to give that just a couple of seconds, and we're going to let that thicken. It's only going to take a few minutes, and once that's thick, I'm going to come back in and give it a little bit of texture on the top. We'll be right back in just 1 second. Okay, welcome back. We are now ready to put some texture on the top of the soap, and then we're going to add some extra lavender buds to this just to give it an extra layer of design. So I'm going to do just my normal feathering technique. I'm just going to show you how I do that. I take a standard spoon like this, and I use the back side of it, and what I do is just kind of go down the sides and bring it up to form this nice little feathered look. And I'm going to do that all the way down and then turn the mold to do the other side. Now, while I do this, I want to let y'all know that even though it's in the sponification stage, this soap is actually still enough in here to burn. So you want to make sure that you don't have your hands in the soap. Make sure that you keep your skin covered. So, all right, we're going to finish this last side. I like this feathering stage because it kind of goes along with my business name, which is Birdies. So that's kind of the reason I feather it, and it just makes it look a little softer, a little creamier. So there's my feather stage. You can see the texture that I've added to this. So the last thing that I want to do, I've taken some more lavender buds, and I added actually about 10 drops of essential oil to these buds just to give it another layer of aroma to this. So what I'm going to do is just down one edge of this, I'm going to add just a line all the way down, and I'll get that cleaned up here just so that it's a little bit nicer. When these are cut, then each bar is just going to have a little bit of extra lavender just on the very end tip of it. So we'll do that. And that's it. That's our bar of soap, or that's our loaf. We have to let this sit now for anywhere between 12 and 24 hours. And depending on how soft it is, we may let it sit a little bit longer than that before we cut this, because we don't want to cut it too soon. So when this is ready to cut, we will be back and I will film the cut for you, and you can see what it looks like. Until then, have a great day.